question. What does a local house church look like? What does a meeting look like in a local house church? One of the things we learned early on, that unless somebody really has a gift for hospitality to host every single week in their home, we find it better to rotate homes each week, or maybe sometimes hold church 2 or 3 weeks at a time. They can do that. But what we found is it often works best to rotate homes. That way the burden doesn't fall on any one family continually. Also, we rotate leadership. Because house church is not sermon oriented, it's not a miniature of what we've all left. It's rather participation oriented and discussion oriented. And so everybody has a gift. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 14:26, he says, when you come together, and he names 4 categories. Every one of you has a psalm, which would include worship and prayer under that category. He said doctrine, which is teaching, something God's taught me. Revelation, which is something God showed me recently. And then he names tongues and interpretation, which would be a category of the gifts of the Spirit. So anything that happens in house church is going to fall under one of those categories. And yet others, because of their giftings that God has created them with, it'll go according to their flavor. For instance, if somebody is more of a teacher, you can pretty well count on not much worship, but rather get out the Strong's Concordance or the Vine's Dictionary of New Testament Words, because that teacher gift in him or her is going to come out. And other people are real geared towards their gift is intercessory prayer and worship, and so you just know going in there's not going to be much study, but we're going to take prayer requests and we're going to worship and we're going to stay before the Lord in worship and intercede for people. All of that is fine. It varies week by week depending on who's leading, and that way you get to share and become a part of one another's lives. Typically, food is involved at some point, finger foods or snack foods or something. What we do in Tulsa is we try at least once a month to have some sort of a potluck or do something different. Sometimes we've skipped Sunday morning meeting and just gone bowling, rented, reserved 3 or 4 lanes and gone bowling. We've reserved a pavilion at the park and had a barbecue. We have gone out to a restaurant together. Here in the Tulsa area, east of town, we have some Amish families who open up their homes for a fee, and we'll serve you communal style, family style Amish dinners in their homes, piling heaps of chicken and noodles and mashed potatoes and pie, and it's just fantastic. We've had cookouts in the evening. There's no set format, but a typical house church will involve prayer requests and prayer for one another, and then however that person is led that's leading, whether they're prayer, sometimes worship is involved, sometimes some words, some teaching, some sharing of the word. Usually house church is pretty informal. You say you start at 10 o'clock, you really don't get started till about 10:30 or so. Just people coming and going and visiting. And this is the thing about house church, is that we learn that fellowship is holy, that time of people coming and going, that's holy, that's people exchanging ideas, catching up on what's going on, and maybe making plans for later to get together for prayer, or maybe to ask for advice for something in their lives. There's no wrong way. There are some things that help facilitate the Spirit of God moving more, but each church has to find out what fits their culture and where the people are. And we're here to help. If there's anything I could do, this is what I do for a living. This is what the Lord has asked me to do. And so if there's anything I can help with, email me is the best thing. And let us know how we can help. I appreciate it. Thanks.